timer here.
I will concede and let James go first. Age before beauty.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
Alrighty.
so I'm older?
Yeah, not more beauty.
Got you.
I love it. All right, James, let's start with you then. Why are you
Sure.
interested in the position of mayor? And go.
I think I'm interested in the position just due to the fact that I'd like to be able to take everyone's concerns as you know, I think that's important, and then try to filter them down and establish them with the city. Uh, like if I may not hear or see everything, but other people might see issues that need resolved, and they need somebody behind their back helping push them. And I'd like to be that person to help, push things through.
Okay. And Dumpster Dan, do you have a rebuttal?
Uh, Not so much a rebuttal, but
Okay.
part of my rationale is similar to James.
Mhm.
Like, the reason I want to do this is for those of you that know me long enough, y'all know that I have an opinion on pretty much anything. And so this is an opportunity to actually back up all that talk that I do. And at the end of the day, we're all in this shit together. So it's important to work together to make this the best dang place that it can be.
I agree. Both of you made very valid points. All right. On to the next question. James, what are, in your mind, the roles of a mayor?
I think the roles is pretty much they get dumped on by all the people just to try and you know sort through all the clutter, and everything is your fault, which I see that being part of the job, and it's your job to help solve those problems as quickly and as meaningful as possible, as fast as possible, just to keep people happy.
Yeah, definitely. Dan, any rebuttal, or would you like to answer the question?
Um, so I really don't view it as like you know, a dumping. You can't use that word, James. That's reserved for people like me. But
Okay, Mr. Dan,
um,
yes sir.
just teasing. Um, yeah, I mean, obviously, a mayor uh, is in a position to be like a focal point of, um, you know, getting citizens' concerns voiced directly to them, and then utilizing the channels that our predecessor has put in place to kind of make some of those dreams and wishes a reality. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I know a lot of people have already been thinking about, and that's good and great. But I think we just need to keep in mind that, um, in my opinion, it's all about us as a city having a solid foundation. And then once we have that solid foundation, that's when we can continue to build upon it and, add all those bells and whistles that everyone's looking for. Um, yeah.
Hmm, I agree
That's
with that.
very well put together. Yeah,
Yeah. Did you have any rebuttal?
oh, it sounded great.
Oh, fantastic. Alrighty. James, what qualities does a mayor need to be effective, do you think, and how do you embody these qualities?
I think I think listening is definitely the biggest one. Being able to listen and view things from their standpoint. Obviously, you don't. As my standpoint's not always going to be the same viewpoint, so you have to be able to adapt and see how they see it as best as possible, to where you can best understand them and their needs. Uh, how I'd embody them is try to open any lines of communication as possible to help, and it be clear communication, not second, third, fourth hand communication where it gets jumbled around. But yeah, I'd like to be able to do direct talk with some citizens to where we can solve some issues. And then I think another quality should be timeliness, as far as keeping people up to date, as well as executing things that you're intended to execute.
Alrighty. And Dan, do you have a rebuttal, or would you like to answer the question?
Um, I I'll answer.
Okay.
So again, just so I don't sound silly, we're looking at what
Yeah, I can. I can.
qualities I
Do you want
think
me to?
a mayor is, right?
Yeah. Do you want me to repeat the question? I'll just repeat it for
Sure,
you real
go
quick. Yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
yeah. All right. Yeah. For you, Dan, what qualities does a mayor need to be effective? Do you believe, and how do you embody these qualities?
Well, I think I think a big one is transparency. A lot of the times, you know, um, people want or expect certain things to happen, and in reality, those could be in place, but it's just the like I mentioned in the first answer is like the foundation just ain't there. So I think an important trait of a mayor would be transparency, just so there's no BS behind it. Like, it's one of those things like I don't think a mayor is like a kind of like a jack of all trades. I'm not a genie. I can't just snap my finger and make something like appear or happen out of thin air.
Right.
So being able to convey that to the people who have concerns is very important. And I try to do that just, you know, I just get right after it. And, you know, sometimes it rubs people the wrong way, but I'm just being completely transparent with people. It's not meant to be hurtful or anything like that. It's just, facts don't lie. So, that's what we're dealing with. Another quality I think is all about the greater good mentality. So similarly to what James was saying, like just because me, Dumpster Dan, thinks a certain way, if somebody approaches me with a different viewpoint, I'm not going to dismiss it just because I personally don't agree with it. Because that's not the way the position should work. Like, obviously, person feels strongly enough to voice their concern needs to be considered um, and looked into to the fullest extent possible. So, um, in summary, transparency, and in my rambling, I forgot what the second one I already mentioned was.
Okay.
So that's my
All right.
answer.
Good stuff. James, do you have a rebuttal?
No, sir, I do not.
Alrighty. On to the next question then. All right. James, have you ever been in an administrative position before? If so, mention a challenge that you've faced and how have you managed it?
So, as far as an administrative position, I've ran several businesses. I've helped Benny's in the beginning of my time. I was a financial advisor for them. Uh, that's probably one of the first businesses that opened in the city. And then after we had great success there, I left and went to imports. Ran that for a while. Built a good foundation for them, and if I remember correctly, they still keep some of the same core items as the way I left it at once upon a time. But obviously, everybody makes their own changes, which is good to see. I like seeing things birth and grow once the plant has been planted. And then I've what was the second part of that question?
Yeah, it is. Let me pause my timer. So the second part of the question is mention a challenge that you have faced and how have you managed to get through it?
Oh, okay, yeah, no, definitely. Challenges I've faced is not being able to have enough people, especially whenever imports first opened. Uh, Trying to read through resumes, putting in the late hours to try and find the right people to put in the position. Uh, Even went through and trained each one of those employees. I think I had 3 right off the bat. Just spending extra time that I don't normally spend, just going through with them, making sure everything's correct, teaching them as best as I possibly can. You know, and then after that, I moved on to airport, and then some challenges I faced there is obviously would be financial challenges. So I had to you know find ways to help that business grow, as well as try and bring some activities to the city. It's not always easy to you know get a whole group of people together, but whenever you put in the extra thinking and the extra time, I think it actually turns out to be a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Dan, I'm gonna ask you the first question and then the second question, just kind of break it up. So have you ever been in an administrative position before?
I have. So I started as an intern at Benny's, and then I went to mechanic, and then I ended up being the owner. And then we moved shops over to Lucid, and I own that now. So I'd say I have quite a bit of administrative experience. Yes.
Alrighty, perfect. And mention a challenge that you've faced before, and how have you managed to get through it?
That's a good one. I think just like anything, I'll try not to make it so like mechanicy specific. But
Yeah.
anytime you get folks from all different walks of life, like everyone's gonna have their own like little flavor and interpretation of certain things, and just managing personnel and keeping kind of the the main goal, like having everyone strive towards working in that one similar direction, is key. And translating that into like what a mayor would do is like we got all sorts of different folks that live in the city, and each one has like their own experiences and shit. So it's important to kind of mesh all those together and figure out what we as a city want, and then all work together as a cohesive unit to the best of our ability to try and get us there.
Okay, great. And do you have a rebuttal at all, James?
No, no, sir.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna skip this next question because it's I don't like it. Anyway, all right. So, what is a strategy or mindset that you intend to use in this position, Mr. Deacon?
Well, I think we reflected on this and Dan both. It would be open communication. I would like to be able to even when I'm asleep in my apartment, I would like for a place to where they could, you know, if they have to write a letter, list their concerns, and then we could reunite and talk it out and see what kind of things that we could do. Uh, some other things is just I think just generally going around checking on people, checking on businesses. Businesses are a big part of the city. Try to promote working at businesses. That's gonna
Hmm.
be one thing that I'm hoping to accomplish. Because the more people that work at businesses, the more we can work as a unit instead of the one or two people that really work their heart out and never, you know, never really get a chance to, vacation. And
Yeah.
but
Okay. Do you have a rebuttal, Dan, or would you like to answer the question?
Hit me with the question.
Question. Alrighty. Dan, what is a strategy or mindset that you intend to use while in this position?
Uh, Most of you that are here, I think y'all know that I kind of fancy myself a scientist. So, um, if the city has problems, we're going to do some experiments to see if we can, uh, get those problems corrected. And I can't promise it'll work right out of the gate, but we'll keep trying different tactics until we find a solution that makes sense, for all of us. The whole goal in this and me running, like it's not to benefit me or any individual or even group or just business owners. I mean, we're like, I sincerely mean it that we're in this shit together. So it's all it's all about us using our resources as a community. And going back to that foundation analogy, we got to have a foundation if we're all going to prosper the way we want to. So yeah.
Mhm. Okay, good answer. Do you have a rebuttal at all, Deacon?
Oh, it sounded great.
Okay. All right, next question. All right, what is the main challenge that you foresee in this role?
Main challenge is definitely pleasing everyone. I don't. I don't. I'm not saying. What's the best way to put this? I think it would be very difficult to please everyone, but I would like to, you know, please the vast majority as at least as much as I possibly can. I know there's always unpopular opinions of everything. There's always good and bad to everything, and I'd like to be able to sort through those and uh, push for the best. And that's really the hugest challenge that I see that could possibly be.
Okay. All right. Any rebuttal, Dan? Or do you want the question?
uh, I'll take the question.
Okay, Dan. What is the main challenge that you foresee in this role?
That's a tricky one. I mean, James has a good point. Like, just obviously, and being realistic, you're not going to please everyone, and it's unfortunate, but it's not like designed purposefully to give somebody less. There's just going to be some shit that happens that is going to affect more people, and then others things that happen are going to affect like a smaller group of people. That's just kind of the way that it is. I think one of the big challenges would be take, and again, full transparency. And I know in the past we have kind of, Nico, I've heard about some of your challenges, and I
Mhm.
take those into consideration. Is that um, all the concerns and stuff need to go through a like a chain of command type deal, and none of us here have the ability to just go out and make something happen on a whim just because we feel like it. We need to file the paperwork and go through all those motions. And I think my biggest challenge would be solidifying those communication chains up the ranks and actually delivering on shit. So if I say I'm going to do something, or enough people say, "Hey, we want this," like I'm gonna push with every fiber in my body to make it happen. And if it happens to ruffle some feathers, like fucking a, like so be it. But you know, I take this shit seriously, so you know, some people are gonna get all squirrely about being persistent. Then that's not for me to worry about.
Mhm. Alrighty. Good answers from both of you guys. And then any uh any rebuttal, Deacon?
Question for 200, please.
Okay. Let's see here. All right. In this role, I mean it's a very time consuming and very tiring role, by the time you start getting into it and doing everything. How do you think you're gonna stay motivated throughout your time as mayor?
I think the little battles. I think every now and again, when you win a little battle, it's going to make you feel good and it's going to make you push harder. Uh, and then you constantly get those, constantly get those. I know you're not going to win everything, you know, and so I mean that might get you down a little bit. But whenever you see people that are happy for actually doing something that they like, it really empowers me. It wants me to push for more. That's
Yeah.
really the biggest thing for me.
Okay. Alrighty. Dan, do you have a rebuttal for that, or do you
No,
want
I
the question?
respect. Yeah, I'll take the question.
Take the question. All right. Same question. What is how are you gonna stay motivated in this role? Because like I said, it's very time consuming, and there's a lot of hours you put in that maybe you don't necessarily see something out of right away.
Yeah. I mean, the way I would stay motivated is just by keeping my nose to the grindstone. Um, there's a lot of work to be done. You know, we've all been on this roller coaster together, and the end goal is to get us continuing to climb. And I want to try to get us over the peaks and valleys. And just having that always in the back of my mind that we're all, or me personally, I'm striving for something bigger than just myself. I mean, that's really all the motivation that I need.
Okay, great answer. Great answer. Any rebuttal, Mr. Deakin?
No, sir. The
Alrighty.
well put together, set of
Hmm.
mind thought.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alrighty. What is your greatest fear as mayor?
My greatest fear.
Yes.
I guess honestly failing on items, just not delivering. That would definitely be my greatest fear. Just you're not able to push out what the people want. Uh, you get attacked from both sides. You just can't seem to win. That would be my greatest fear.
Okay. Any rebuttal, Dan, or would you like to answer the question?
Um, so this debate's been kind of vanilla, and I know
Yeah.
the people in the audience want some Jerry Springer type stuff. So I'm going to say this with all the love in the world, James. Fuck failure. Like, you can't be afraid of it. Like, part of being a scientist is trial and error, figuring out the right combination to something. And whichever of us win, we got a lot of trial and error coming towards us. The can you repeat the question? As I started rambling, I forgot it.
You're fine. It's what is your greatest fear as mayor?
Oh yeah. So um, we got I don't know, we got three main cornerstones of the city, you could argue, with PD, EMS, and then the
Civilians.
citizen-owned businesses. Yeah. Um, my biggest fear is kind of what we're all experiencing now. There's some work shortages that, if that continues to go, it just, it's a syndrical effect that, um, just keeps going round and round, and everyone suffers because of it. Like, I don't mean to call anyone out, but is there any police officers here? I don't see any.
I see zero. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my biggest fear.
Fuck 12, bro.
There's such a big disconnect between these pillars of our community, and to me that's bullshit. Like, I know I said it 100 times, and I'm sorry if you're all tired of hearing me say it, but it's the truth. We're all in this shit together. So if you have one of those pillars that is, going against the grain or just not contributing as they should, it's making shit harder for all of us. And we need to get back to our roots to where, we're all striving for the greater good and making this place, be the best that it can be. So my biggest fear is just kind of going down the trajectory that we're at and just continuously like segregating our population more and more into these little silos, when in reality we should all be coming together and like interweaving with each other.
I agree. I agree. That was a good point. Do you have any rebuttal or addition?
Nope. Nope.
I,
It's,
no. Oh, okay.
James, call me a name.
are you a name? Dan?
Yeah. No, a dirty name.
Oh, you he
Dirty
did
name?
just say
Dirty
name
Dan?
though.
No, like like dingus, you dingus.
I'm Dirty Dan.
Here.
No, you're not.
Here.
Shut up, Greg.
Shut up,
All right.
Pinhead.
Okay. All right. Lastly, I'm gonna do last question, then I'm gonna open it up to everybody out there to ask you guys a question, one at a time, obviously. But all right. So your job's gonna come with a lot of criticism from pretty much every direction. How do you think you're gonna handle that, or how will you handle it?
I feel like I'm fairly level-headed that I can I take criticism pretty well. It takes a lot to startle me, I think. So I don't think the criticism will get to me as much as some other people, just in general. It usually takes a long time for the fuse to be lit and the bomb to go off. But as far as how I would handle it, it's just a lot of things happen whenever you have disconnects in communication. That's what a lot of this is about, honestly. It's just unclear communication, and I think the criticism won't be as bad whenever we can be, as Dan said, transparent with the people on what we can do and what we can deliver. So that's how I plan to deliver on both of those fronts, is to be able to open up a way for people to speak and then be able to deliver back to them.
Okay. And Dan, do you have a rebuttal? Should I ask?
No, but I'll take the question.
Okay. So same question. Your job will come with a lot of criticisms. How do you think you're gonna handle it?
I'm gonna be honest.
Mhm.
I have a tendency to. I'm not gonna lie. No, I got a tendency to get in my feels. I mean, I think we all do. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, keeping with the common theme, if somebody has a criticism of me, then I would take it upon myself to try and see their perspective, to see I like living in a world of facts because facts don't lie, Jack. And um, if upon that reflection, there's a deficiency in the way I'm doing something or handling something or acting, like I'll work to improve on that. And then there's good criticisms and then there's just bad criticisms that are just kind of designed to twist the knife in there. And I'm hoping that we're all, I don't expect us to, oh shoot,
What the heck?
Y'all both suck. Spice it up. God damn you.
Emma, get the fuck out of here.
What the hell?
Theodore, do your job, bro.
Jeez.
Russian Theodore.
Emma, get out. Emma,
Security.
Oh my god.
Security.
No.
I think security fell asleep like 20 minutes ago.
Security.
Your security
Shit.
sucks, Theo. Theodore.
Theodore,
We
you're
got
fired.
her. We got her.
Well done.
Okay.
It's called content, guys.
Ah.
Well, that's a good example. That is a criticism.
Right.
Do I let it bother me? I don't know. I didn't get the sheet thrown at
You
me.
didn't get
so,
hit. Yeah, you didn't get
and
hit.
I didn't get punched, so I can take that as a win.
Yeah.
However, her opinion is valid. If I do suck, I need to go back and review the tape. I mean, I can call James a baby and we can do the whole Jerry Springer shit, but in reality, that's fucking theater. What the hell is that gonna change by us calling names and shit? We got fucking issues that are rooted, and we need to get some weed eater and get all that shit out and gone. Okay. And I lost.
Hell
Yeah, that's the end of my answer. And I will sit
Fantastic.
now.
All right. Sounds good. So that ends. Thank you both very much. That ends the questioning section on my part. Does anybody have any questions? If you do, raise your hand, and we'll call you forward. It's a whole lot of no questions going on over here.
No questions.
Nobody
Not
has any
even like,
questions.
not even
Oh.
funny ones.
Oh, I think that's Lance has one. Lance, come on up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, come on up to the front here. Yep. There you go.
How do you feel about the lack of Series 4 Pokemon cards being introduced to the city? And how are you going to get Series 4 Pokemon cards introduced?
So
All right,
who's
we'll
your
just go in the same
question
order.
directed towards? You
Yeah.
pick,
All
wanna pick
three of
somebody?
you. All
Three
three
of
of you.
us.
Three of
Yep.
us. Well,
Yep.
okay. First of all, go James. You first.
Okay. Well, the Pokemon Cards is a private business organization, so they can release whenever they choose fit for their business. We don't really have control over forcing businesses to do things. I would like for businesses to do things on their own and push for their own success.
Okay. Same question for you, Dan.
Yeah, well, I think the lack of Series 4 trading card is just a travesty. But what I have heard is that the importer of the cards is like in some godforsaken prison somewhere, and he had to teach a rat to crawl through the poo pipes to get word back to the city on how exactly he would import those cards over. So it's been a work in progress. So it's not like, people are just standing around with their thumb in their butt. I understand the excitement with it, especially like a master trainer such as yourself, Lance, who wants to collect all them Pokemons. I wouldn't lose any sleep over it. That it's not that it's not gonna happen ever again. It's just it takes a long time to train them rats to get back to us here. So they don't have a sense of direction. They have to fucking crawl through shit and then smuggle themselves on a plane at an Air Force base, and then first of all make sure they're in the right damn continent, and it's a journey to get back here. So there's a lot that goes into your Series 4 Pokemons.
Yeah. Alrighty. I have a write-in. Somebody sent me. They wish to remain nameless. So I'll ask you both this. So starting with James, what do you think about our current war on drugs? Is this being handled properly?
Current war on drugs. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think the drugs is the biggest problem of our city. I think a lot of shooting in the streets. I hear more of that than I do drugs being imported. But as far as honestly, I haven't seen too many drugs being peddled around. That's from my perspective, though. We would have to do some investigation on
Yeah, you'd
where
actually
or
have to sell
how much.
drugs. Yeah.
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 You talk to people.
Yeah. Okay. Same question to Dan. How do you
Well, I
feel
think,
about the current war on drugs, and are they being handled properly?
well, not to dismiss the actual question of
Yeah.
there being a war on drugs, but in order for there to be a war on drugs, does there have to be a fucking police force that actually wants to show up and do their job to enforce said war? So
is
I
true.
think we got a
Valid,
bigger fucking
yeah.
problem than a war on drugs. And I think the question, the way that the question is asked, my answer without the pageantry and shit, I think it's kind of outrageous personally, because most of I've had the squeakiest clean record in the past. I've recently expunged myself to a tune of $250,000 for my past transgressions. And in those transgressions, there's been a couple of drug charges. And I just put it that they're not the most understanding when it comes to, um, we'll say all drugs. I mean, for those of us that got ADHD, you need your Adderall, or else you kind of get out there. You know how many times I've been fucking hassled about having my day's worth of Adderall on my person? I think that's just bullshit. I got, I got caught with a little bit of booger sugar on me. You know what they tried doing? They tried hitting me with, they tried telling me that I was a distributor. And they said I had a, quote, large amount of cocaine on me. I had one fucking baggie, 1 gram of cocaine. It's like, if we're, the war on drugs need to start with the police force, because what the fuck drugs are they on thinking that kind of shit, you know?
That does sound pretty loopy. Okay.
Fuck 12.
Oh, I think I just got another writing. Let's see. Yes. I got another question here from somebody saying, all right, I'll start with James. What do you plan to do as your first order of business if you're in office, if you get elected?
What do I plan to do?
Like, what's your first order of business if you were to become mayor?
I mean, first order of business would be to, I have plans for a platform, basically for Vibe, to build out for the mayor's office, to be able to, for people to send in questions, as well as, in a perfect world, I would like to figure out a way to add people to City Hall. I would like a city clerk to work with, as well as how many ever things that we can really get added to City Hall to help benefit the people.
Okay. Dan, would you like to answer this question as well?
Sure.
Okay.
So it's like 1A and 1B for me. Obviously, if elected, you know, I want to check out the mayoral digs, you know, hang up some pictures of, you know, my pig, Notorious PIG, you know, friends, family, that kind of shit, you know, make it homey. And then the main thing, I don't want to dump on the police, but, you know, I kind of feel it's on them, you know, not wanting to show up and participate in our democratic freedoms. So they can't really defend themselves. So sucks to be them, I guess. But I would really like to reform the entire fucking police department to where it makes sense and we don't have to deal with all this petty bullshit no more. And I think more importantly, you know, I'm not a police officer, nor do I pretend to know kind of their hierarchy. But what I will say, you know, for the people at the top of a particular organization, we'll call it, I would expect them to have some fucking presence around. I think that's the least that we deserve. And, you know, it trickles down. You know, the absence, you know, it doesn't really motivate, you know, folks to be on their P's and Q's. And I don't think it's fair for us as citizens, you know, to have to police ourselves when we have the foundation of a literal police department that is just choosing inaction above anything else. And when they choose not to be inactive, they choose to pour gasoline on fires rather than putting them out with de-escalation tactics. And so what I would look to do is sit down with the police department and figure out a way how we can get motherfuckers in there that actually, you know, want to do police work and want to be around and be a face of one of those pillars of our community that is so important.
Mm-hmm.
That would be what I would attack first.
Okay. Gotcha. Hold on, I've got a few. Oh, Yama, go ahead.
Hey, a question about bringing in tourists and then strategies on getting those tourists to actually purchase an apartment and move in. What are kind of some unique thoughts and plans you guys have on that?
Crypt Tours LLC open for business.
Whoever wants to go first on that.
Yeah, I'll jump in on this because I got one right in the oven cooking already. So obviously, yeah, we'll all have a better time. You know, we get more folks, you know, coming to visit and deciding they want to stick around. I think the issue that we're finding ourselves in, it's not so much that it's not about issuing passports anymore. It's about, the incentive of when people come check out our digs to make it more of an inviting experience to get them to want to stay. And that is kind of falling on all of our shoulders as a community. I've been seeing a lot of Bob's posts about people like giving tours to newbies and shit like that. Like that's the kind of good stuff. And I don't know. I think us being proactive in that nature, it may help. Again, scientists, we science it out and we see see what'll work, see what won't work. But I think the important thing is to, make sure that people feel welcomed and not isolated when they move to a new place. Because imagine how you would feel if like you move with your family and you start at a new school, you ain't got no friends, you don't know what the hell to do. Like you just need that one person to like, take you under their wing and show you the ropes and shit, and then you can kind of get your own footing and then go on your own journey.
Yeah. James, do you have any input on this?
Yeah, biggest thing would be opportunity and activities. I've been pushing for to make activities of my own, just to help make everyone enjoy what they do a little more, and give them a little bit of a break from the regular grind. And I would like to impose opportunities for them to be able to meet people in these activities, as well as try and help promote businesses to do events, which I've noticed a lot more businesses have been putting on events recently, which has been fantastic. And I would like to, be there for any of the newer people, or even the people that have been here for a while, to appear at those events as often as I can, to help assist them in any way I can.
Okay. All right.
Can I rebuttal to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's rebuttal / rhetorical. So, James, you and I are both business owners. Yeah, so we pay taxes that go to the city, a la I guess the mayor office, even though it doesn't go directly to the mayor, no shit like that. But
not sure where that goes actually.
Yeah, but we as business owners have always been told, the city will sponsor events to kind of along those lines that you're saying, get people excited, make it fun for everyone, give opportunities for new folks to kind of meet new people, and just for us regular, frequent flyers, um, give them an opportunity to blow off some steam. That goes back to the role of being a mayor is, calling that shit out. Where the fuck is that money going? Like, why aren't we having events? Like, it's a give and take. I know it's, everyone's got shit going on and stuff, but it's important that we don't lose sight on what is happening in our city. And, there needs to be, so whether that's just something that we as a mayor just take over, or say, all right, well, the mayor's office will sponsor those events now because, it seems like people can't be fucking bothered to do it. And we'll actually use those funds that are coming from our hardworking businesses and actually provide some sustenance to our citizens. So it's kind of what I would look for in that.
Okay. Great. I got sent in one question for each of you. They're both very spicy, so I apologize in advance. But
go for it.
Yeah, who wants their spicy question first, James or Dan?
Are they different questions?
They're different. Yeah, there's a question for you, and there's there's specified questions for each of you.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Very specific.
You shoot.
Okay. All right. Again,
not realistically,
this question is not from me. Does not reflect my viewpoint. It just got sent to me. So.
Oh shit.
Yep. This question says, James Deacon used to give his employees 2% commission and keep the rest for himself. Do you plan to keep doing that with the city budget?
So that is a false statement. It was never 2%. So when I worked for imports, trial salesmen at 2.5%. and then regular salesmen got 5%, and then managers got 7.5%. That was the structure. So that's a invalid statement. It wasn't far off of that, but as far as the city budget, first we got to really see what is coming in and what can be used for good in general. You can't just I don't have eyes on that, so I can't really display what I would do, because you can't really if you get 2% of a dollar, you're not going to do much with it. So it really depend on what we're looking at for just the whole big picture. And that's kind of one of those things that you can't really give a definite answer to until you see it.
Okay. Alrighty. And all right, Dan. Again, I'm gonna preface this with this is not my question, not my viewpoint, just something that was sent in. Um, this is why did Dan blacklist PD from Lucid when he didn't get his way? And do you plan to do that to other businesses when you don't get your way?
Yeah,
Feel free to take a moment and digest that if you need to.
No. So I mean, so why did I blacklist PD?
Yep.
That's the question. That's the first part of the question.
First part of the question, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. My answer to that is, well, which time? Because to be honest, they've been blacklisted a couple times, and I try to use that as a last resort scenario. So I don't necessarily agree with the idea that it was because, quote, I didn't get my way. The reason that they were blacklisted was for the continuous use of power and their just dumbass thought process in how to handle certain situations. So, like I said, PD in the past has had a fucking tendency to, instead of de-escalating situation, come in with a gallon of petrol and just let that bitch up sky high. And when that stuff came to my doorstep, the most recent blacklist was because there was once upon a time an employee of mine that made some poor decisions and was wanted by law enforcement. And instead of having a civil conversation as like adults should and stuff, PD decided that they wanted to act a fool in my place of business and continuously be aggressive with their tactics. And instead of just listening and getting to the root of the concern, they just kept pressing the issue until everyone had fucking guns out, and it just turned into a big thing that didn't need to happen. So I reserve my right to fucking blacklist anyone that I want. That's just the way it is. That goes across all businesses. I'm not the only person that has blacklisted somebody from their business. And after I've had a lot of conversations with the PD after that, and I think we made good progress towards, obviously I let them come back and restated service to them and all that. But it's the point that, when we see and hear the same shit day after day after day, if no one's going to step up to the plate and fucking do something about it, I'm going to take it upon myself and do that. So, it may not have the best, what's the word I'm looking for? The metrics or the numbers may not appear in my favor for a decision like that, but it got those people to the table to voice concerns and to stress the idea that we need some freaking positive change to move this thing forward. So, and the second part of that question is, well, my personal opinions don't mean dick for businesses outside of Lucid Motors. Everyone is entitled to operate their business as they seem fit. Again, for those of you that know me, my journey hasn't been all rainbows and unicorns and shit. Like, there's been some trials and tribulations, but when it came to blacklisting certain folks from businesses, there was always valid reasons behind it. It wasn't some bullshit vendetta that I was just butthurt about something, because to be honest, that kind of stuff just doesn't make any sense. Like, if you get your panties in a bunch about something, that's fine. But I truly, truly believe that there was a foundational issue that needed to be addressed. And the only way that it seemed I could get people talking to me about those concerns was to do something like that.
Okay, great answer. All right, does anybody
Does that
else
mean
have
you're
any?
going to be? I guess that means the one part of the question was does that mean you're going to blacklist businesses that are disgruntled with their with issues that they upbring, and if they're really
Oh,
passionate
no.
about it, they can
No,
come across as like really aggressive?
No, sorry. Again, like as a bit, I know what it takes in regards of like the mental take of being a business owner. So that's kind of like a brother and sisterhood that we got going on, business owners and stuff. If I were elected mayor, if a said business would come to me with concerns, even if I didn't necessarily agree with it, first of all, I don't run that business. So who the hell am I supposed to be to say, well, no, that's not the way it is? The truth is, I don't know shit about anything other than a mechanic shop, and that's fine. I trust the people that are put in place to own and operate their businesses to come to me with concerns that they have about what they are experiencing, and then just kind of conveying that and trying to get them the support that they need.
Perfect. Anybody else have any questions?
Go, Ron, go.
I don't see any hands.
Go up there.
All right. Do you guys have any final?
Ron
closing
has a
remarks?
question.
Oh, Ron has a question.
Yeah, he wants to come up.
No, I don't. I'm good. Thank you.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
good.
Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit.
Don't throw a shoe.
Oh.
Look, that was my last shoe.
Don't throw any shoes. Don't hit anybody.
Look. Let's clear things up. I apologize for not having two shoes to throw at both of you.
Apology accepted.
On top of that,
We should probably go.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the end of that then. Anybody else concerned that she just got like kidnapped? No. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
he's fine.
Shoes though.
Hey, stop throwing shoes. I'm not George Bush.
Anyway, any final questions before we wrap this up? That looks to be a solid no.
Do we get closing statements?
Yeah,
Judge?
go for it. Yeah, you can go for it. You can go first, and then Deacon can go.
Okay. Well, I just want to thank everyone for coming out. I know this isn't the sexiest of things we all can be doing on our Saturday evenings, but like I said, and I truly hope you don't think that I'm just blowing smoke up all your butts when I say we're in this shit together. And at the end of the day, all I want to do is to have all of us prosper here. I wouldn't be going through all of the shit that I've had to jump through in order to get to this point if I didn't truly believe that we can make it happen. So again, I just want to thank you all for your time and your consideration. Again, special shout out to the LCPD and
shout out for not showing up.
special shout out to the LCPD and for having a very positive and impactful presence in our act of democracy here today. It's so great to see. And if you can't tell, that is 100% sarcasm. So, again, thank you again for your consideration. Let me all ramble at you for a while. If anyone has any questions, you can always find me on Vibe or at the shop. I am always willing to shoot the shit with anyone. So, the floor is yours, James. And just before, because I think this is the last time I'm going to say anything. Fuck you and your red hair.
Oh, it's always a joy to work with him. For everyone that didn't know, I used to work with Dan for months. It feels like it definitely was just like his name was. It just dragging through the garbage dump. But I finally segregated, went to my own way. But I do appreciate everyone for taking the time that they did for coming here, because like Dan said, there is a bunch of other things that you could be doing, but you're showing your appreciation to the city by being here. And then those that can't make it, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And then those people that just don't care at all, they just move along as nothing ever happened. They're just gonna exist. But I think the biggest part would be if you actually do something in your community, then you're actually gonna make a difference. And if you don't do anything, then you're just really kind of wasting time. Getting creeped out by
Yeah, what the hell, Theo?
Just accept
Yeah.
it. Look, this is just
Okay.
something that's happening to me, and I'm just making the most of it. Okay, I don't have control over this.
He's getting glamour shots.
I'm just making the most of it. Just keep going.